Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting off my Steven Spielberg review series with Duel from 1971. Before I get started with today's review, I just wanted to make a quick announcement that I just opened up an Instagram. I had an art one before and I still do have that one, so please feel free to follow that one if you want to, but I decided to dedicate one just to movies and my YouTube channel because it wouldn't make sense to post movie related stuff and YouTube video updates on my art channel, so I just decided to open up another Instagram and you can go follow me at Jennifer V Movies. And just a quick second announcement, I'm starting to post again on my second channel, so if you want to go ahead and watch more content to watch from me, then go ahead and subscribe. The link will be in the description. And that's about it for all the announcements we got today. Let's talk about Duel. And by the way, this review will not contain any spoilers, so all of you guys are free to watch this video. David Mann, a mild-mannered electronics salesman, is driving cross-country on a two-lane highway when he encounters an old oil tanker driven by an unseen driver who seems to enjoy annoying him with dangerous antics on the road. Unable to escape the demonic big rig, David finds himself in a dangerous game of cat and mouse with the monstrous truck. When the pursuit escalates to deadly levels, David must summon his inner warrior and turn the tables on his tormentor. So this movie marks the start of my Steven Spielberg review series and also marks his first feature-length directorial debut, and I believe he worked on some films before then. I think they were short films or other TV films, or I could be wrong, but when you look up online, this is mostly what everybody considers his first directorial debut, so that's the one I'm starting off with. And this movie, I had no idea anything about it. Like, I just looked up his filmography, saw this one, and I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be average, and it completely exceeded my expectations because it was so good. The concept of this monstrous truck was actually inspired by true events, and that's one of the first things that I love about this movie. It's a concept that feels out there, but at the same time it feels kind of familiar to people, where, you know, at least in my case, sometimes when I'm driving I see a truck behind me or a car that's been following me for hours and they just keep following me. I always think the worst, and our main character is put in this situation and the truck driver is literally insane. The movie just gets a simple occurrence of a crazy driver and turns it into an insane chase movie that I just really had a total blast with. And something that I kind of feared with this movie was that it was gonna lack character. And sure, there are some things that the movie lacks in. I mean, we don't really know everything about the characters, but I think they did enough with this movie to help us care for the character, and at least when he was in a really bad situation, we wanted him to get out. And I think they did that really well by making him just be like an average dude, if that makes any sense. He's like the most average guy, and sure, that could be boring, but when you have an average character like that put in a situation so crazy, you want him to succeed, because it's really cool when the protagonist is able to step up his game and be super cool. Like, there's so many sequences where he just like gets really excited when he passes the truck, and I know talking about it kind of makes this movie seem so boring, but really it's so good. Like, every single time he would pass the truck or something, he would cheer on and I was cheering with him, and I think just little moments like that just makes this movie even that much better. And also the truck is an amazing character, and I love that Spielberg was able to make the truck this really great antagonist, and it's almost like if the truck had a personality and a face, and I could tell who this truck is in a person form. And I loved that we never got to see the truck driver. It was mostly just the truck that we got to see, and Steven Spielberg played with so many angles to give the truck power, and in reverse give our main character angles that made him look weaker. It was just really well crafted, and I liked that we were able to get two characters out of a really simple storyline. And to continue talking about the truck, Steven Spielberg actually had a casting call for the truck, and I think that's really awesome to know, because he said he wanted this whole process to be just like you would cast, you know, a regular actress or regular actor, and he had a bunch of in-person auditions for these trucks to see which one was the perfect one, the one that looked the most evil, and he auditioned 7 different styles of semi-trucks on the Universal backlot, and he finally settled on a 1955 Peterbilt 281 because he felt with the split windshield, rounded lights, and elongated represented the menacing features of the truck's face. And I love that, because for sure I could definitely tell what the face of this truck is, and he's just so evil. And this movie is directed extremely well. From the get-go you could tell what type of style this movie was going to have, and I love when movies are able to do that, because it just has a style the entire way through. Nothing seems out of the ordinary and weird, if that makes any sense. It's just all perfectly goes together, and I love the quick cuts and the candid angles. And I have a fact for you guys that when I found this out, I was genuinely shocked. Steven Spielberg was just given $400,000 to work on this movie, and listen to this, 10 days to shoot Duel.
No one could have done that film in 10 days. We wound up shooting that in 12. I went maybe 13. I went 2 or 3 days over schedule.
10 days is just crazy because sure, this movie is not Marvel with big gadgets and big CGI and just big everything. But this movie still, for what it is, it's incredible that they were able to do this in 10 days. Apparently, it took a full 13 days to shoot because there were some complications on set, but still, like, that's such a short amount of time. And there's a sequence in the movie that I can't tell you what the sequence is because it'll spoil it, but it's phenomenal. And Steven Spielberg said they only had 1 day and 1 shot to shoot that. And the fact that they just got the perfect shot right away is amazing to me, and it's just great. I love watching movies that have a lower budget and that are directors' first films because there's usually facts like this that I just found out that are crazy because movies nowadays take so long, and it's incredible that a movie could be made like this in such a short amount of time and with such a short budget. And Spielberg was incredibly smart because the movie takes place all on this highway and there's a bunch of just scenes of them driving, so you obviously have to make it a bit interesting. And to save time, because they had such a short amount of time, he actually put cameras all over. So he put cameras on the cars themselves, on different angles, and he just recorded a bunch of footage on a single stretch, and I think that's just really smart and just gets the job done, and also looked really great because I loved that it was just so high paced, and as the truck was moving faster, the cameras were moving faster, and the editing was making the cuts faster. It was all just like perfectly paced in a way that you felt like you were on the highway yourself, and when they were speeding up, you were speeding up. The camera work also did a really good job of giving me anxiety, which I think was the point of a lot of the scenes because the truck is getting closer to the camera, hence getting closer to the other car, and it was just all done really, really well. And I love the different cars' point of views. I love point of view shots in movies. Evil Dead is one that I can think of that reminded me of the POV shots because as the car was tumbling and like moving, you know, because of the wind, the camera was also doing the same. POV shots just made me feel like I was there in the moment with these two characters, and I think without the point of view shots, it wouldn't have had the same effect that ended up happening. And apparently certain scenes were actually added for the theatrical release because, believe it or not, this movie was not made to come out in the theaters. It was actually made to come out as a TV film for ABC's Movie of the Week, but it was so effective and it had such great response, they actually moved it to a theatrical release. Steven Spielberg had to go ahead and film some scenes to make it have theatrical release length, and I wouldn't even notice that because sometimes when they add scenes to movies, you kind of notice it, like you notice, hey, this doesn't seem right, it doesn't fit, but here in this case, it all fit, and what he came up with afterwards also fit really well. And I like the sequences that he did end up adding because when you do read on what the sequences were, they're really fun, and the movie would not have been the same without it. Also, I've got to talk about the music of this movie because it was very low-key, but it was so effective. It kind of reminded me of Psycho in some points. Not that I don't think the scores have anything to do with each other. Like, I don't know if he was inspired by it or something. So, as I was editing this review, I decided to look up online if he was inspired by Hitchcock, and I actually found this that reads, "The use of sound, or lack thereof, was a tactic used by Spielberg to keep the audience in suspense throughout the entirety of the film, a trait that he said he was inspired to use from Alfred Hitchcock." So I guess it did have some correlation. And before I end this review, I've got to talk about our actor, because when you have a movie that only has basically one character throughout that we're stuck with, basically, you better have an actor that knows what he's doing and does it well. And I've got to say that Dennis Weaver is incredible in this, and honestly very underrated because I never hear any talk about his performance here. He just feels very realistic, where he doesn't even feel like a character. He genuinely just feels like a guy who's trying to make it out of this really crazy situation as he's trying to just get to his destination. And yeah, this movie is awesome, and for the start of Steven Spielberg's filmography, I'm really happy to say that this was an incredible movie that I'm going to give an A. Let me know what you guys think of Duel if you've seen it. One of the best, honestly, first movies of a director that I've seen. It's really a phenomenal film, and I'm just so happy that I saw it. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. I highly recommend it. And that's about it for me today, guys. If you're new here and you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing for weekly movie content, and make sure to follow my Instagram, Jennifer V Movies, if you want more updates on my channel and just other random stuff, I guess. And also make sure to check out my second channel if you're interested. That's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.